Hey all, I'm back with another book review today, and today I'm going to cover E.O. Wilson's book Half Earth. And this is a book that is essentially about climate justice. It is about mass extinction and one particular method for solving that. And E.O. Wilson's solution is, hey, let's set up 50% of the earth for wildlife and animals and plants and biodiversity and 50% for humans. And in the book, he talks about we're somewhere around 12 to 13%. This book was published a number of years ago now, so I don't know what those numbers are, but it would sure be interesting to find out. I tried to look up, couldn't find a an easy or quick number. But he talks about organizations like the World Wildlife Fund, the Nature Conservancy, and various other organizations that are buying up land for this purpose. The book also does a wide survey of all the different environments that would be ideal for expanding. He talks about cases of extinction. E.O. Wilson himself is an entomologist, so he studies insects, particularly ants. I actually read his book, The Principles of Sociobiology, in graduate school way back when. It's a beast of a book, but it was like groundbreaking when it came out. I think it was the 70s or 80s. Forgive me, I forget the year of that other book. Different conversation. So some critiques for this book. I love the idea. I absolutely love this idea of reserving, 50% of the earth. I have no arguments there. However, I will say that this is very much a Cartesian nature versus culture approach. It does not take the significant contributions of indigenous people historically to biodiversity. If you want a great example, check out the Netflix documentary. Actually, in part, one of my professors from grad school in anthropology, this documentary Bayul, which is about traditional ecological knowledge in Nepal and how people help to have these kinds of internal cultural concepts, such as like traditional ecological knowledge. The way that cultures interpret nature is different than the West, the nature versus culture. E.O. Wilson comes from this from a very Western perspective. Of course, he is a Western scientist, so that's not a surprise. But there's a lot to be said about the important role that indigenous people play today, such as the Bantu tribe in Africa, who help to protect endangered species when they're allowed to be in the Nature Conservancy zones. So there is much to critique here in terms of that. I think an influx of an indigenous knowledge. In fact, now that I think about it, this is a one particular book also that I read a while back. You can see all my little tabbies in there. We Are in the Middle of Forever. Indigenous Voices from Turtle Island, being the United States, on the Changing Earth. So that book would be a great addition to this read. There's a number of great books on indigenous knowledge out there. So many, really, honestly, that you could find that would make a nice addition to this book. I do think it is dangerous to only take a Western approach here. The world is a lot more than the West. So that is my big critique of the book. I do still think it was worth reading, but I would say like 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 3.5, because of the deeply problematic only Western view of the approach to nature, and it was Western views that kind of got us into this development mess. So I think we need additional perspectives. So that's my thought on Half Earth by E.O. Wilson. Check it out. It is still worth a read.